everybody, and welcome back. Lars here. Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the Holiday Cup, and we're going to talk about what team you're going to need in order to be successful. And so far this season, we've been doing really good. Our placement was at 2,300, and it's just been going, well, it went down a little bit. I lost 100 ELO, but then I got it all back, plus some more. So that's always nice. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about our backfield, and I don't use save swaps just to lead to backfield. And we're going to start with Dubwool or Vigoroth. Now, we're going to go with Dubwool. It slightly beats Vigoroth. It gets a thumbs up. Vigoroth gets the sad frowny face, although you can use Vigoroth instead. It's totally up to you. Or you can bring them both down and make sort of an ABB, and it's not the first time somebody's done that. I saw quite a few of them last year. It's been a while. My brain has to catch up, but it's been a while. But I have seen people use it. Regardless, they're going to be out there. They're going to be prevalent. But for now, let's go ahead and just leave Dubwool in there. Next up on the list, we have Dugong. And Dugong is no stranger to us. We just got done with Dugong in Retro Cup. Actually, we're probably still doing it, depending on when you're watching this video. But here's the thing with Dugong. Please pay attention. It says that it loses the Frost Blast. It actually doesn't. I don't know why PB Poke does this. I think it's just some weird setting that I must be doing incorrectly, but it's trying to, or at least it's acting like we should be using Drill Run against Frost Blast for this simulation. But you never, ever want to use Drill Run against Frost Blast. You want to use Icy Wind. You always shield that first Shadow Ball and then start pummeling it with Icy Winds, and then instead of losing by 2 turns, you're going to win by 10. So please keep that in mind. Not sure again why it does that, but it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and move our Dugong on down to the lead position, just like in Retro Cup. So it's old hat for a lot of people, and yeah, it's kind of a heavy price to pay, an elite charge, an elite fast TM, but it is worth it for that Pokemon, full stop. Definitely, if you don't have one, we just had a Spotlight Hour. If you got a good one, then you're going to want to give it or use those 2 elite TMs. So next up for the backfield, we have either Lantern or Charjabug. In Retro, we went with Lantern and then swapped the Charjabug about 5 days ago. Now we are just starting out with the Devil Bust, the Shame Train Charjabug, and it's going to be our hero. We're going to move it on to the backfield. It's going to join Dubwool and Dugong, and together those 3 are going to be our team. Now, you can also, if you so desire, bring down little Lantern, kick poor little Dubwool out, just push him on down, and then it becomes an AB, well, pretty much like an anti-aerial Pokemon team. Nothing flying is going to get past these guys. So you can also do this, but I would just recommend to stick with what we've been doing so far, which is Dugong and then Charjabug and Dubwool. So it's going to be really familiar to a lot of people because of the fact that the only big difference is there is no Medi. Instead, we're using Dubwool, but we don't have to fear any other Medis, just other normal type fighters. So really familiar to a lot of people, and I think you guys will be happy. Now, we can talk about the they're not necessarily wild cards for this team, but other Pokemon involved in this cup. And we're going to start with Victory Bell. I used Victory Bell last year, and it did a good job. Obviously, it's good against the Lanterns of the world. It's good against the Stunfisks out there, but there are going to be a lot of flyers, and it is going to need to have a little bit more shields if it wants to really be successful in this cup. So let's go ahead and leave Victory Bell out. Let's leave, well, Stunfisk, it's a ground, it's an electric type. It has a lot of benefits, but if it's going to be anything like last year, there's going to be a lot of normal type fighters, and there's going to be a lot of ground moves. So because it is weak to ground, we're going to leave it out. And speaking of ground, Dunsparce. Dunsparce is our 3rd string. It goes Charjabug, Lantern, then Dunsparce. If you don't have those 2, you can bring in Dunsparce. Or if you really like Dunsparce, you can bring it in. The only big problem, though, of course, Charjabug, as far as fighting goes, it is not very effective against Charjabug. Against Lantern, it's neutral, and against poor Dunsparce, well, it's super effective, so keep that in mind. There's a lot of Pokemon that are going to be out to get him, and Dunsparce, I'm not really sure how it'll do. As far as Skeletor, it's a little bit on the outliers. Really good, obviously, against Charjabug, against Skarmory, against those types. But it depends on how often we're going to see him. And everything else, it's neutral. I think it could be maybe better served in another cup. And poor, even though Aurorus is ranked, I think, number 2 in PB Poke. Like I said, a lot of fighters and a lot of ground types, both of which do not play well with Aurorus. So there's that. Unfortunately, I don't see Aurorus becoming too OP. Skarmory, another outlier. Depends on how many people are using anti-aircraft Pokemon, but we'll see. It could be a decent pick. I remember, was it last season or season before, people were using it. So you never know. But for now, we're going to go with Dugong, we're going to go with Double, and we're going to go with Charjabug. For those of you keeping score, I believe it was, according to PB Poke, like all B's and an A somewhere. I'm not too heavily invested into that. I like PB Poke. It is a good, solid tool to use, probably the best tool you got. But you do have to use discretion because, like we saw earlier, there are plenty of mistakes that it can make sometimes, or that I'm making, right? So for now, we're going to stick with this, and I will see you guys in a few days with some actual footage once the cup starts. But for now, I wish you a good rest of your day. I wish you a good rest, whatever's left of it, of the Retro Cup. And yeah, take it easy.